Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, July 29th. It's probably about 7:45 a.m. and I got up a little later today because I got back home a little late, so I got to bed about 11:30. And that's really late for me, but and I just woke up a few minutes ago, I don't know, maybe about half an hour or so, and decided that it was time to sit outside and get this music vlog done. I had one done, but part of it got messed up. Something happened with the video. It was wobbly and my voice went off a little, and then there was just stuff in there that I did not like. So I just thought I'm going to do this all over again and kind of share with you a little bit about growing up and new music I listened to and a few different things like that. I woke up with this, I don't know, stuffy nose. Hold on just a minute. Hey guys. Nope. Alright, they were going to bother the cats again. And there's some serious mosquitoes out here today, and I'm not sure why. What is happening? Because yesterday they weren't this bad. It is a cloudier day, so it's a little better. I'll probably be able to sit out here a little longer before the sun starts beating down on me. Excuse me, sorry. So I guess I'll go back to growing up, as a child. My dad and mom always listened to music. My dad was probably more of the music. I don't know if he loved music more than she did. He just played it at the house a lot more. She would too, but they had a little bit different style of music that they listened to. But one thing that always stands out in my mind is Saturdays at our house. And this probably happened since I was really, really young. But this is something that between me and my sisters and my brother, we all remember my dad having the music on Saturday morning, very early. And it was the day that we cleaned and everything, but it was the jam out day. Still to this day, it's the same thing. Even when we all moved out and everything, you'd go over on a Saturday, music would be on, they'd be cleaning, moving furniture, doing whatever. And I remember when I was really young, I got this little brown cassette player with a microphone, and it came with a book on a cassette tape. Cannot remember what the book was. I think it was the Bernstein Bears or something like that. And I did listen to the books, but I like to read them myself. But I was really young, so I don't know. I'm not sure. I might have been 4 or 5. So I love to read the books and go through the pictures, and I would listen to it. But then I would take cassette tapes from my parents, and I would listen to their music. I remember they had cassettes of I'm not sure if it was Olivia Newton-John that I listened to on a cassette. It may have been also on an album that my dad had or mom had. I don't know. But I did have a lot of their cassette tapes. There was a lot of 60s, 70s, and then of course in the 80s. And I remember always having music on after school, especially I'd say probably early elementary school. I would go home and I would put the music on and lay in my room after school. A lot of that, now looking back, probably because I was very overwhelmed with school, and not school itself, but just being around people and all the things. And now later in life that I've been diagnosed with different things, it kind of makes sense what was going on. But so I would go home and listen to music, and that would kind of calm me down. And so I had my little Walkman with headphones, and at that time, I'm trying to think what I would listen to a lot of. Probably my parents' cassette tapes. So it's probably a lot of 60s, 70s. I remember a cassette of the Bellamy Brothers, and CCR, Bob Seger, stuff like that on album, on cassette tape, on 8-track as well. And then I used to have the single cassettes that you'd get, like their, the popular song, whatever. I had those. And I listened to, like Debbie Gibson, Tiffany, Belinda Carlisle, Madonna. What else do I know? Missing some, like Starship, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi. I must have heard something, and stuff like that. I always had some kind of cassette tape going. And normally I did listen to pop when I was younger, because I remember I had this in 3rd grade. I had this little white boombox with a strap, like a purse strap kind of thing. I take that with me to school, and I remember taking my Bon Jovi tapes. And I don't know what else I would tape it up. For some reason, that memory stands out in my head with taking Bon Jovi. And then I got a home stereo with the cassette, the record player, the radio, and that was probably closer to 5th grade, maybe. So yeah, that was fun having, like, I just loved music and books. Those were the things: music, books, notebooks, pens, pencils. So those were my favorite things to have. I never really liked dolls growing up. I liked stuffed animals, but I didn't like dolls, and purses or bags. So, and still pretty much the same thing. One thing that's a funny story, that I was probably 2 or 3, because the 8-track, I saw it the other day, and it was in 1979, so I was already a year old. So it was probably, I'm sure it was a little after that, 2 or 3. I used to pick it out and ask my dad to play it. I think I liked the way they painted their faces, which I do not listen to that music now, have not in a very, very long time, but it's just something, for some reason, as a kid. I don't know if it was just the way they looked. It was Kiss, by the way. And my dad would put it on. I don't remember, I looked at it, but I don't even remember what songs were on it or anything. That I would get on the couch and I would dance around like a little headbanger. And he said it was hilarious. Like, there is no video proof. We didn't have any of that then. There's no video cameras. There wasn't like video cameras until I was a senior in high school. That I knew people were getting video cameras. That's when my dad first got one. And we had Polaroid cameras, and we had the cameras that came with the film. But even that, we didn't have. My mom still has a whole lot of pictures, but there was no proof of that. So I don't know if it really happened, but according to my dad and my mom, that's what I used to do. I used to headbang. Where I learned that, I do not know. I'm assuming it was, I don't know, from my older cousins, uncles. I don't know. Because I do know my mom would tell me, and my dad also, when I was really little. All right, I'm back. My dad called, so we got to talking for a while. So I'll finish this story. It's 8:17 a.m. and it's still cloudy. It's supposed to be partly cloudy all day. It's supposed to be up in the 80s here, but I'm hoping it stays cloudy so that I can get a lot of my filming done out here today, because I just really need to be out in nature. So anyways, one of the stories that they told me, and I believe it was my Uncle Tony and my mom's brother. I don't know if my Uncle Rick did the same thing or not, but I know my Uncle Tony did, because he's told me when I was really little and we'd go over to visit my grandma, he would have me like in the room or whatever and listening to music, and that was probably, well, it was 78 when I was born, so I was probably around that time, 78, 79, and he'd play music, and they'd bounce me on the bed, like they'd hold me and bounce on the bed, like, so maybe that's where I learned how to headbang, to music. So I was always put to sleep with music. My parents, when I was really young, they had I think it's a 1977 Ford van. I love that van. I still love that van. But they used to take me cruising because back then, up until now, granted, it did change a little. Our cruise lanes changed by the time I was in high school. They no longer exist, and I don't think it has for a while. But at least they don't use it. I don't know. Anyway, so they used to go cruising. My parents were really young when they had me, like I've said, and I don't know if I said it in the last video or not. I think it might have been in the music one, but my parents got married when they were 17 and 18. That year, my mom would have been 18 a few months after they were married. They got married in January. She would have turned 18 in June. And my dad was 18 in January. He turned 19 in May. So, and then when they had me, my mom was 19 when she had me, but she turned 20 a few months later. So they were 19 and 20 when they had me. So they were pretty young. And, you know, it's still want to cruise around and stuff. So they had the van, and they used to put me in a bassinet. And there's a funny story about being in a shoebox, and it's not true, but it's because I was small when I was born, and they say they could have fit me in a shoebox. And my sisters, my brother, and some of my other family members love to remind me about how tiny I was, because I was only, I think, 16 and a half inches long, and I was 5 pounds, 3.5 ounces, so I was really tiny. But anyway, they threw me in the bassinet and put me between the seats in the van and take me cruising. So music and cruising, still to this day, are two of my favorite things to do. That's why I like the type of cruising that has no destination necessarily. It's just, you know, being able to have my own little concert in the vehicle I'm in. So now not having my own vehicle is really hard because I miss going for rides and stuff. I know growing up, and even in my 20s when I had, like wherever I was working, I would go early and take a cruise out to like the Montezuma area or Starry Lake, depending on where I was working at the time, and just listen to music and make sure that I could, I guess, kind of like regulate my nervous system before I go to work, because I had a lot of anxiety and still do, and it was really hard for me to go to work sometimes, and even school, stuff like that. So I always had my Walkman with me when I was in school, even if I just had it during lunch. You know, I would take my boombox in 3rd grade. And so that was kind of, you know, some of this stuff. So there was always music in our lives. And then growing up, my grandpa, my mom's dad, he played in the band Los Archuletas, and they sing like New Mexico style Spanish music. And he was in the band with his brother, my tío Rafael, and my cousins, my tío Rafael's kids. And I think I have a photo of one of the covers of their cassette tapes, so I will probably put those at the end of the video. So this way, because if I clip it in the middle, when I go to edit, I'll probably, if it'd be a little hard to clip them in there, or if I can just put it, like, layer it over. I finally learned how to, like, layer some stuff over, so I might do that as well. But you'll see it somewhere in this video. And so they would play, like, for a lot of family gatherings, for weddings and things. And I know growing up, when I was, like, you know, 9, 10, in my teen years, if my parents wouldn't go to whatever dance it was, and my grandma didn't want to go alone, she would take me with her, because she knew that I would sit there with her, and I would take a book with me or whatever, and I'd just sit and talk with my grandma. And I remember going to a lot of those in Mora, and because they played for a lot of different things, for a lot of family gatherings, for like anniversary parties, weddings, just all sorts of stuff. So I would go to some of them with her, and at the time I really didn't like the music, but I think it was just, part of it was being around so many people at one time. So I would just sit there with my grandma. My cousins were there, and sometimes I'd go out with them, but it was kind of really hard for me to like deal with all of the stuff going on. And then later on, I don't know. I know we went out of state and stuff with them sometimes when they'd go play for other family weddings. As a matter of fact, I think there's some pictures. I don't know if I'm in some of them. I might be, but I know I saw some with my mom, my grandpa, my tío Rafael, and then one of the whole band together. And I think my dad might have been in there, and my grandma. I'm not sure, but so there's music on that side of the family in that way. And I know even my dad said that growing up, like my grandma used to have the music on. She used to listen to it at home. They always had music as well, and it's something that really helps me to find that space or find the place where I can just kind of relax and just be. So when I was probably a teenager, I think it's when I started listening to Christian music. Because before that, like I don't know that I ever remember finding any, like, I don't know, there probably was some, I just had never heard of it. Because I would listen to the people who'd come to like the church that I was going to at the time. And a lot of them were just a cappella groups from like different churches in the Church of Christ, or like from the colleges in Texas that they'd go to. So I did listen to a cappella, which they do have some videos on YouTube. Keith Lancaster is what it might be under, like a cappella with Keith Lancaster or something like that. So over time, they always had different people in those, and so they'd come in sing there at the Church of Christ. Also, I remember having a tape, and I still have it, I think, of En Su Nombre, which was just a Christian Spanish a cappella group. And one of our youth pastor at the time, which is now, he preaches at a church in Texas, him and his wife, his oldest son was part of En Su Nombre. And then they also, their sons, and I think their parents also sang with them too. They had their own group, and now the name just totally left me. And I have their CD. But if I can remember the name, I will put it in the description. And I'll see if I can find any videos on there, because I don't know if any of them have videos. I know the a cappella group, like the main one, does. So those are like the cassette tapes I had. Later on, one of my pen pals that I had, he sent me, this was my senior year, I believe, he sent me a CD of Ray Boltz. So I think it was one of my first Christian CDs, and I really, really liked that one. As a matter of fact, I think I still have it. And then, of course, I listened to Mary Mary. Yesterday, when I was thinking of some of the bands, that song Shackles came up for me, and so it's been in my head. So I've been singing it, and I think I wrote some of these down. So let me see because I was trying to kind of write out a few of the ones that I could remember. I know one was Christafari. I'm not sure how they say that. Let's see. I have Nitro Praise. I think the CD I got was Nitro Praise 3, and it's really good. And I don't really like that style of music for the most part. Like, it's kind of like techno. But I really love that CD. And I still have that one. My husband even likes that one. That's all I wrote down. I guess I didn't finish because I was so tired. And I was trying to write this. I was trying to get my morning pages done. I started at 8:09 and did like about half a page or so, maybe a whole full page, and then try to finish it at 9:42. And I got another page in, but that was towards the end. And I'm trying to think of some other ones that I listened to. I used to listen to DC Talk a lot back then. My first CD of them was the Jesus Freak CD. I still have that. And third day, Mercy Me. I still listen to a lot of these same bands. There's so many of them. There's so many different ones that I really like. And a lot of times there's like a song or two that I like from them. So I have a whole Spotify list of, sorry, there's mosquitoes, where I have some and some new ones too. Now, recently, I've gone into listening to some of the lo-fi Christian worship. So some of it's instrumental, some of it is just the theme songs, just kind of, I think I just need to find some things to chill to. And so I found a lot of lo-fi like that I really enjoy. I do have a playlist that I saved from someone that put it together. It's like a lo-fi cozy cafe vibes or something like that. And it's all instrumental for the most part. Which I really enjoy because sometimes the lyrics really mess up the song. And I'm a lyric person. I love lyrics. I love something that I can relate to, but I just don't relate to a lot of stuff anymore that's in the music. It's like gone off the deep end. I guess I'm that age where it's like back in my day, and granted, even back in my day, now I know what my parents were talking about. It's that you get to that age where you see like, oh, my parents were right. And then they're thinking their parents were right, and just so on and so forth. We grow up and we start seeing things differently. But trying to think of any other bands. Gosh. More recently, we found, Rare of Breed. They're really good. I really enjoy their music. And I listen to a lot of more praise and worship music. So, some of it's just like the acapella stuff. I listen to that still. And just type a lot of worship music. I don't know that there's a lot. There's one, Worship Mob, I think is what they're called. And there's a song, what is it? One of them's called Yeshua, which is a really good song. But there's one based on the Song of Solomon. And I can't remember if it's what the name of the song is. If I can find it, I will link that below too. I'll be linking quite a few things. I'll try to come back to this description often while I find music and just kind of stick it in there. And also I'll try to put some of these in the community tab as well. And I also listen to Hebrew music, like praise and worship. And I'm trying to remember, I don't know if there was a name. It's like Hebrew praise and worship stuff. I don't know if they have like a name to the group exactly, but I'll put some of that up as well. Joshua Aaron is another one I really enjoyed. I was hoping to see him in concert. He was in Albuquerque this year, so I'm hoping next year he's back again so I can go see him. And I'm trying to think. There is a girl, Yishka, I think that's what her name is. She sings a lot of praise and worship, and she plays the harp, and she does some really beautiful music. She has one that she sang about her mom, and her mom passed away. I'm not sure how long ago that was, but it's pretty recent, in recent years, at least from what I understand. And she did a song, I believe it's called Mommy. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful song. So I'll try to link that one too. I'll have to rewatch this because I should have just pulled up my notebook and wrote all this stuff down right away. But when I edit this, I will write these down. So that's kind of my music story. And like I said, now it's mostly instrumental, kind of lo-fi stuff. A lot of praise and worship music, stuff like that is what is. Whoa, that was close. I don't know if that was a fly or a mosquito, but that was loud. Just because it just puts me in a place of peace and calm, and with everything going on in my personal health journey, as well as just the world, it's a place I need to be closer to the Lord, and sitting there with the praise and worship music really does help. It really puts me in a space to just relax and, calm the nervous system and all that stuff. So let me show you, see if you can see this boy. He's way over there by the fence line. He waits over there sometimes, see if the little doggy from across comes by, but he just turns to stare over here. But yeah, he's adorable. Story of how we got him. Interesting. Where he was found, and that my sister and her boyfriend were there, and he was just happened to be under their car, and how they couldn't find his owners. His collar he had on looked like it was embedded, and it was like a rope type of thing. So yeah, and he should have his collar on with his little tags, but sometimes I don't know how they do it, but they like to bite each other, but Pumpkin likes to get him by his collar and pull him to do what she wants him to do, and he listens. And somehow this one, she got the clip once and it fell off. It took a while. I think she bit it a few times and finally pushed it enough that it fell off. So they're hilarious. And so she has lost hers a few times too, and I'm assuming it's his fault. They get each other like that. So yeah, I will try to link some of the music here, and if there's some favorite songs, favorite music, things that you guys like to listen to, leave them in the comments below. I'm always looking for new, good music to listen to, especially when I'm writing and stuff. I like to have music on, and for my concerts when I drive out of town. So just leave those in the comments below. Do you guys have family members who play in bands? What type of music do they do? I know Letty from her channel name change is Cling to Christ, I believe. And I'll try to put that up here as well if I can get a screenshot and stick it up here. Her dad plays music. He does some really good. He does covers, and I think he also writes his own music, and it's really good. I'll try to link one of those as well if I can remember. And if not, Letty, if you see this, put a link to your dad's music in the comments. But I'll try to do that. I'll try to get that, and I think I have shared one in the community tab before, but I'm not sure. like to hear from you guys and let me know if you guys like these morning coffee vlogs where they're just kind of storytelling and kind of day in the life type of stuff. Alright, well, I will see you in the next one. God bless you. Bye.